Hello. Today we're going to cover the Helios Falcon Interface basics. Um, just very quickly, it's going to be a short video. I'm just going to go over the interface itself and the different sections. So here we have the Helios Profile Editor. There are two ways to add the interface. First off, what is the Falcon interface? So the Falcon interface is just a way of being able to get data in and out of Falcon BMS and allow you to uh, display that data in your profile with gauges, and also to be able to control your jet in Falcon BMS with switches, knobs, buttons, etc. So the way we can add the profile is two different ways. We can go up here and say Profile, Add Interface. Notice the plus icon. Or we can go over here on the Interface Status page, and we can click plus. We're going to highlight Falcon, and we're going to click Add. So there are a couple of different sections here. We have the Falcon Setup, which is primarily telling your Helios profile which version of Falcon you're using, what key file you're going to use, and then this is just some informational. This is the pilot call sign that is read out of the Windows registry, and in one of the other sections we will talk about this again. Okay, so the key file is just that. Finding your key file that you're going to use in the profile. I only have one version of BMS, so I don't have to select another version. The latest version is always going to be at the top here. So say if you had 4.34, that would be in another row underneath it. And what this does is this sets up pathing to Falcon for some other things, like getting the key file, right? It's going to take you right to the path of the version that you have selected up here, right into your user config folder, so that you can select whichever key file you want to use in this profile. The RTT client section is how you can control the RTT client and also configure it. So the Helios profile, you can graphically position your viewports for the different client windows, and you can also control the stopping and starting of RTT. I'm going to cover that in a separate video because it's a little bit more lengthy. We have the Falcon Runtime section. Falcon Runtime has two options: a Focus Assist option, which it brings focus to the Falcon window if it's not in focus before a keystroke is sent to BMS. So some users might have some kind of social media app or like a voice control program. They might be tabbed out to another program where Falcon BMS is up and running on the screen, but it's not in focus. So if you forget and you press a button, thinking that, oh, I want to lower my landing gear, and the profile will show that the landing gear is lowering, but it never sent the callback or the keystroke to BMS because BMS was not in focus. So Focus Assist will try to ensure that the Falcon BMS window is always in focus before any keystrokes are sent to it. So, and that could be a pretty handy feature. Force key file is the other option. And what we're going to do here, it says force Falcon pilot call sign to use the key file defined in this profile. So each pilot call sign has a pilot options file. In the user config folder, you'll notice it will be your call sign .pop, right? .pop will be the extension. And within that .pop file is configured what key file BMS is going to load when you start up BMS. So we can say this profile that I have configured right here, if I say force key file, so what's going to happen is when I start this profile in the Helios Control Center, it's going to update that pilot options file with the name of this key file so that when you start BMS, the key file will already be loaded. So you can have different profiles with different key files, and as long as you have that force key file option, and as long as you're starting the Helios profile first and then starting Falcon BMS will always be reading the right key file all the time. So that is a good feature to have. Falcon key callbacks window is kind of like an informational, if you want to look up, did I load the gear, the gear handle callback, is that in my key file? These are all the callbacks that were loaded from your key file, so you could quickly come here and look them up. This window is also referenced later on when you're binding a button push to a callback. So we can go over that. That'll be in another video as well, because bindings can get a little, there's a lot of information around it. So that's just the basic interface here. We'll go back over to the interface status page, and right now we got a green checkbox, which means everything's good to go so far. But what does that mean? Everything's good to go. All I told it was, hey, there is a key file here, right? So the Falcon interface will check to see if the key file actually exists that is defined in your profile. So if I change this name just to bm-full.key, if I go back to interface status, immediately you get a warning. It says the key file configured in the profile does not exist at the path specified. And then it gives you the path that you have back over here, over here configured. So that's one thing it does. Another thing it does is I'll have to demonstrate with another profile. So just load the Viper one. So the Falcon interface will also check all your, it'll check all the callbacks that are defined in your profile with what's in the key file. And if you're missing any in the key file, it'll let you know. So here's another error message. This is based around RTT, not the callbacks. We'll cover this in another video. So if I say currently this profile is using wheelchuck f16.key. So if I change that to wheelchuck f18.key, right? Go back to the interface status page. Now we have all these warnings. Callback bound in the profile is not found in the key file. So that means there's a button in this profile that has a binding for send pickle. It's a pickle button, right? So it'll tell you, hey, there's something wrong with the key file, you need to fix it, right? Or you need to redo your profile. So that's a good feature of the interface. So other than telling, other than the interface just allowing you to point to a key file, it also does a couple of simple checks for you. So that's the video on basics of the Falcon interface. Stay tuned for a few more on RTT configuration and going over some of the bindings for the Falcon interface. Have a good day.